Hey everyone, I hope you are well. Today we're going to be going over basic perspective. Yay, basic perspective. Basic perspective for CAC, you guys. The reason why I'm keeping it basic, I just want to introduce you guys to perspective in its simplest form. Perspective can get very intricate very fast, but if you just know the basics, that's really all you need to know. When we're drawing from life or from observation, however you want to put it, it's very important to at least know the basics of perspective and to basically use it very intuitively, because that's how artists, that's how we use it. We use it very intuitively, versus coming at perspective very mechanic, with rulers and all types of stuff and T-squares and triangles. There's a way to do it that's more intuitive, but you need to really know the basics, and that's what's important. So I do want to just go over, well, I am going to go over 1 point perspective, 2 point perspective, and 3 point perspective. And we will be dealing with 1 point, 2 point, and 3 point in class. So now I'll go over a little bit more in depth in class. But in this video, this is going to pretty much be a basic intro to it, as well as a little bit of a lecture as well, just kind of a combo video. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I want to do is get my horizon line in. So I'm just going to go ahead and just draw my horizon line. Hopefully it's a little bit of a crooked line, but that's okay. So when you think about your horizon line, you want to think about, here's a way to think about it. Your horizon line is pretty much where the sky and land meets. That's very important to remember. That's really what your horizon line is. Also, when we're in class and we're working intuitively, your horizon line is where your eye level is. So once you find your eye level, you know where your horizon line is. So just to get this line to look a little bit more straight, I'm just going to move the paper over because it's very crooked, and that's fine. All right, guys, so now that we got our horizon line in, we want to get our vanishing point in. So we're doing 1 point perspective. That means we just need one vanishing point. So your one vanishing point, it could be a center vanishing point, an angular vanishing point. It could be however you want it to be. But it has to be one vanishing point. That's very important. When we think about 1 point perspective, basically your front plane of any object that you're dealing with is parallel to the picture plane. So I'll draw in a front plane, that way you kind of get more of a visual of that. So we're going to get our front plane in of our object. I'm going to move it down just a little bit. So now we have our front plane in of our, we're going to draw a cube of our cube. So this is my front plane that's here, and it's also parallel. Let me try and get in the frame. Parallel to our picture plane. So this is our picture plane that's here. This is my front plane. They're both parallel to each other. So that's very important to remember. So now that we have that, once you have your front plane in for your 1 point perspective, your corners converge to your vanishing point. All of your corners converge to your vanishing point. So I'm just going to do a center vanishing point. Then I'm going to take all of my corners and they're going to converge to my vanishing point. And in perspective, you want to draw through. You want to see every parts of your plane. So now that I have that in, now we can see that everything is going to that vanishing point. So here's the thing. Here's the little bit of a kicker. When it comes to cubes, normally you would have a ground plane and you will have a gridded ground plane to kind of get an idea of how are the depth of your cube, and how many inches far back you're going back into space. So because this is basic, we're not going to be dealing with that. We're just going to guesstimate how long we want our cube to be. So I'm just going to come in with a back plane line and connect that to my my bottom plane of my box. Remember, our back plane of our cube is parallel to our picture plane as well. So now we have our cube that's in 1 point perspective. So in class, although this is very simple, in class we're probably going to do a box below and above the horizon line. I'm just not going to do it in a demo because this is just to show you guys what to do. But you get the idea for 1 point perspective. So this is 1 point. 1 point perspective. The next thing that we're going to do a 2 point perspective. And here's the thing, the kicker. I'm trying to debate. Oh, no, because I'm just going to say it. I'm not going to actually draw it. I just want to keep it simple. We can do, as long as you have your horizon line, you can do a 1 point and 2 point perspective on the same horizon line. And that's very important to know. In class, I may talk a little bit about that just so you guys can get a visual. I just want to keep this video very, very simple, but you definitely can do 1 point and 2 point on the same horizon line. When we're looking in life, normally there is 2 point and 1 point perspective in the same room. You know, you may have, I don't know, a chair that's in 1 point perspective and you may have a table that's in 2 point perspective. And normally with 2 point perspective, it's just an object that's cocked into space and you kind of just see the corner in two planes. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that right now. I'm going to change my paper out. All right, so we want to get our horizon line back in. So we got our horizon line in. So 2 point perspective means we have 2 points, not 1 point. So we have our horizon line that's here. And we need 2 vanishing points versus having 1 vanishing point. So I'm going to extend my lines just a little bit more. I just don't want to have any weird distortions with my cube and 2 point. But I also don't want to go outside the frame of the video. Okay. So I'm going to put 1 point here, another point here. So this is my left vanishing point. and this is my right vanishing point. Alright, so now that I have my 2 points, this is the thing. 1 point perspective, remember our box is parallel to our actual picture plane. In 2 point perspective, we will see a corner of the box. So let me draw in a corner. So we have our corner drawn in. So this corner is going to converge to our vanishing point, which is going to give us our front and side plane. Alright. So now we have that. We have our corner of our box. We have our corner converging to our left and right vanishing point. So now that we have that, I want to get in my front plane and also my side plane. So this, once again, just like with 1 point, normally if we have a gridded ground plane, you're able to measure how big you want your cube to be, or if you want your cube to be a true cube, or you could definitely do that. We're not. This is just very, very basic ways of doing 1 point and 2 point perspective. So I'm just going to draw a line, and I'm just going to say, okay, this is how big I want my cube to be. So once we have our front and side plane in, we need to get our top plane and bottom planes in. So this line is going to converge to our left vanishing point. This line is going to converge to our right vanishing point. We also want to get our bottom plane in, so we're going to draw through. So this line is going to converge to our left vanishing point. This line is going to converge to our right vanishing point. Then we're going to draw and connect this point together. So this corner is going to connect our top and bottom plane. So, you guys, in basic form, this is 2 point perspective. So one of the things that I was saying earlier is that you can have 1 point on a horizon line as well as 2 points. So I'm going to try and see if I can squeeze this in, and I should be able to. So if I have, let's say I have a 1 point here, and let's say I want to draw in a 1 point box. on this horizon line. So remember, our 1-point perspective, this is going to be my box, it's parallel to our picture plane. So our front plane is going to be parallel. So now, remember, our corners are going to converge to, I need a smaller ruler, you guys. I thought this would help, but this might be too big for a ruler. So it's going to converge to our corners. 1 point, this is going to converge to our vanishing point, corner, vanishing point. Also, don't do like me, make sure you're meeting your points. And then we're going to say, oh, this is, I'm just going to say this is how big I want this cube to be. It's a little distorted, but that's fine. I want this to come down here. Oh, get on that line. There we go. Oh, got a lot of lines here. And this is going to go this way. So now I have my 1 point cube. Just want to fix that line. I gotta fix it everywhere. There we go. Oh. All right. Oh, this is what twos are for, to help you get proper lines and not have wobbly lines. So we're here. All right, so now we have our 2 point box as well as our 1 point box on the same horizon line. So you can definitely do it. It's best not to be this distorted. Like, this is what you don't want to get, a distortion. But this is still accurate. It's just distorted, and that's something you don't want to run into. If I probably would have put the box above the horizon line or a little bit below, it would have made more sense of a box. But this is still fine. Long as you have the idea that you can, as long as you have your horizon line, you can have a 2 point box and a 1 point box on the same horizon line. That's very, very important to think about. What I'm going to do is just shade this in so we can get quickly shaded in. I'm not going to go into too much depth with it. Just so we can get a better idea. So you guys, you don't have to shade it in. I just want us to be able to see that front plane just a little bit more. So So now we have our 2 points, 1 point, both on one horizon line. So you could definitely do that. Alright guys, so we're going to go over 3-point perspective next. Guys, so we're going to get started on 3-point perspective. So 3-point perspective, just a little bit of a background of 3-point perspective. I normally don't use it as an artist, but it's good to know about 3-point perspective. So 3-point perspective is an angle of looking up or down from a worm's eye view or from a bird's eye view. So it gives you a very dramatic composition, and normally it's used in film or animation, possibly game art, maybe graphic design, depending on what is being drawn for whichever client or patron. So it's a very unique perspective, but I just know I don't really use it as much, and there's a few, I can't speak for other artists, but I do see some artists use it, some artists don't. But we're going to go over in this basic perspective video for my CAC class. So let's get started. So when you think about 3-point perspective, it's just that we have 3 vanishing points, a left, a right, as well as a bottom or a top vanishing point, depending on if you're trying to get a worm's eye view or a bird's eye view. So this is what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to start with my bird's eye view. So I want to get my horizon line in. And I don't want it to be like overly crooked. So I have my horizon line in. And I'm going to come in with, I'm going to put my vanishing points on my corners. So we have left vanishing point, right. Alright. So now that we have our vanishing points in, when we're doing 3-point, you want to come in with a center line, which I'm not going to measure mine, but you probably want to measure it. I'm just trying to keep it very basic. So coming in with a center line, this is my 3rd vanishing point. I'm just going to call it the bottom for right now, but this is my 3rd vanishing point. So now that we have that in, I'm going to come down just a little bit because when we're doing a bird's eye view, we have to start with our top plane of our cube that we're going to do. So I'm saying that this is the front side of this plane because we're getting the top plane in. So this is going to converge to our left vanishing point. This is going to converge to our right vanishing point. So now I want to say, okay, how big do I want this box? Normally you would measure it. We're not going to measure it. And normally you probably want to do use a 45 degree angle just to kind of get the proper cube measurement. But right now I'm just going to say this is how big, you know, I want my cube to be. So I'm going to connect this to my left vanishing point, this to my right vanishing point. So now we have our top plane in. So our corners here are going to converge to our bottom vanishing point. So now that we have that, I want to say, okay, how tall do I want this cube to be? and that's just how tall I want it. I don't want it extremely tall. This is going to converge. This side is going to converge. So I do want to draw in just like I did my top plane. So this is going to converge to my left. This is going to converge to my right. I'm going to connect my corners to connect my top plane and my bottom plane. So there we go. We have a cube that's in a 3-point perspective. So we see the top, we see our bottom plane, we have our two sides. So this is the bird's eye view. So if there was a bird flying around, they would be looking down at this box. So that's 3-point perspective. So the next one we're going to do a worm's eye view, which is basically the same idea, but it's basically flipped. But it's the same idea. Alright guys, worm's eye view 3-point perspective. So worm's eye view 3-point perspective is literally the same thing as bird's eye view, but it's just opposite. It's flipped. So we're gonna go ahead and start. So you want to start with your horizon line at the lowest part versus the highest part. I got my horizon line in. I'm going to say that this is my right vanishing point, left vanishing point. So, and then I'm going to get my center line in. So once again, I'm not going to measure it, but you're supposed to. So this is our third vanishing point. So I'm going to do bottom vanishing point. So we're going to come up just a little bit. I might put a base, but I'm not 100% sure if I want to do that, which I might do it. So once we come up just a little bit, and you can measure however much you want to come up, I want to connect this point to my left vanishing point, this point to my right vanishing point, and so I have that. Now I want to come in and probably do a very exaggerated base. So I'm going to say my base is this wide. These points need to line up with my bottom vanishing or top vanishing point. Should change that to a T. So now you can see we have our front plane and side plane. Then I want to get something, let's say a another box on top of this base. So I'm going to say this is how tall I want it to be. So this is going to be very dramatic and exaggerated, and it's fine. This point and this point lines up. And I also want to say that I'm going to come in and I want this top box to be a lot slimmer than my base. So this is going to line up to, this point lines up to my top vanishing point. This point lines up to this top vanishing point, or the third vanishing point. So now, if you can see, I have my bottom base. Just going to shade it in so you guys can see it. There's a lot of lines that get very confusing very fast. Come in with a lighter shade in on this side. See this? Actually, I want to get my top in as well. See a little bit of my top plane. So you can kind of see the top of it, which is weird, but that's what it is. Alright, so we're going to get this plane shaded in. So now we have our worm's eye view. We have a base cube, as well as we have another cube on top of that. So that kind of gives you an idea. So pretty much, if we were a little itty bitty worm that's here, this is what our worm will be seeing. So this is actually our worm's eye view 3-point perspective. So you guys, hopefully this helps. This video is very, very basic. There's a lot of books that you can pick up to get more techniques for perspective, but this is just the basics. Once again, like I said, in my class, I just really want you guys to do perspective intuitively, because it's a drawing class and we're drawing from observation, and you just want to make sure that you can, you understand what converge to what vanishing points, where a horizon line is, how to make up for it, and it's definitely will help you with any still life project that we are doing in class. So thank you guys for tuning in, and if you really, really love this video, go ahead and like it. If you truly, truly want to be a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe. But thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, you guys, and thank you for watching my videos, and wherever you at, if it's a morning, night, day, just thank you for watching my videos. I would see you guys in the next video. Yay, art. Bye, guys.